She took her best friend's life and her home if only she knew the secret waiting inside by Taleshade Whisper. The villagers swore they saw Amaka walk into the house that night. But nobody ever saw her come back out. Yet by morning, the front door was wide open. And her best friend's body was missing. Amaka and Chioma were more than friends, they were like sisters. From childhood, they did everything together, shared clothes, secrets, even crushes. But while Chioma's beauty opened doors, Amaka's jealousy locked her heart in bitterness. Chioma had just inherited a beautiful bungalow in Enugu from her late uncle. It was big, painted white with red roofing, and surrounded by tall mango trees. People called it Yulo Enchita, the house of memories. Chioma planned to renovate it and move in permanently. That same day, Amaka came to visit. She was unusually warm, too helpful, smiling too much. Chioma, trusting her blindly, didn't suspect anything. But that night, as rain fell heavily and lightning cracked the sky, Amaka did the unthinkable. She slipped something into Chioma's zobo, then dragged her lifeless body into the backyard well. Covered it. Burned the mattress. Cleaned everything. Then, she moved in. 3 days later. Everything seemed perfect. Amaka was finally living the life she believed she deserved. But then, it started. At night, she would hear footsteps pacing the corridor. She would lock her bedroom door, but still hear it open and close softly. Chioma's favorite red slippers kept appearing by the front door, wet. One morning, Amaka found muddy footprints leading from the backyard well into the house. She cleaned it. Blamed it on the rain. But things got worse. Every night at exactly 2:13 a.m., the doorbell would ring once. No one would be there. And the whispering started. I never left. Give it back. Sister, why? Amaka started to unravel. She called a pastor. The pastor entered the house, stood still in the parlor, and simply said, "Someone who doesn't belong here is very angry. And she's not buried properly." He refused to enter the backyard. He left without praying. By the 7th day, neighbors reported seeing a girl in white standing on the roof at midnight, hair dripping wet, eyes hollow. But when they rushed to check, the roof was empty. Amaka stopped eating. She started talking to the walls. She would scream at the mirrors, swearing Chioma was watching her from the other side. On the 10th night, she ran into the compound naked, banging on neighbors' doors, yelling, "It's not me, oh." She said I should help her carry her things. They found her the next morning, sitting by the well, singing Chioma's favorite nursery rhyme over and over again. Inside the house, written across the wall in red lipstick were the words, "You took my life, now leave it." Till today, the house remains empty. Nobody dares go near Yulo Enchita. Because sometimes, around 2:13 a.m., the bell still rings. And if you listen closely, you hear someone crying softly in the backyard. After the incident, Amaka was taken to a local church for deliverance. 3 strong men had to hold her down. She screamed, thrashed, beat, cursed in voices that didn't sound like hers. She spoke in Igbo, Yoruba, even in a voice that sounded like a child crying. But each time they tried to lay hands on her, she would turn sharply to one of the prayer warriors and say, "Ask her where she buried me." Nobody knew what she meant. Not even the pastor. Until the pastor's wife, curious, followed the whispers in the spirit. She went to Yulo Enchita. That evening, the woman walked through the compound, Bible in hand, lips praying softly. Nothing moved. No wind. No birds. No sound. But as she reached the well, her Bible fell open. Page by page, the wind flipped it backward. It stopped at Psalm 109. Let his days be few, and let another take his office. The ground trembled. And the slab covering the well cracked. She ran. Back at the church, Amaka had stopped screaming. She now sat quietly, her face pale, eyes sunken. Then, around 2:13 a.m., she looked up and smiled. She said, "It's time." Before anyone could react, Amaka slumped. Gone. Cold. No wounds. No struggle. No reason. They buried her in her hometown, far from Enugu. Her family, ashamed, never spoke of her again. But the house. Yulo and Chita. 6 months later. A young couple, unaware of the history, bought the house for cheap. Everyone warned them it was a cursed house. They laughed it off. The first week, everything was fine. Until the wife, Ngozi, started hearing voices calling her by name. Her husband dismissed it, blamed stress, pregnancy, the move. But one night, Ngozi woke up screaming. She said a wet, cold hand touched her belly and whispered, "Not again." Her pregnancy ended that same night. No heartbeat. No explanation. They left. The next tenant was a copper, fresh from NYSC orientation camp. She moved in boldly, painted the walls, and played loud music. But 2 weeks later, she disappeared. They found her phone on the floor, the front door open, red slippers neatly placed at the doorstep. Just like before. Till today, no one stays longer than a few days at Yulo and Chita. The gate is always swinging open by itself. Visitors claim to hear someone singing "Rain, Rain, Go Away" at night, even when the skies are clear. Some say they've seen 2 girls standing at the top window, one smiling. The other was crying. Nobody knows if it's Amaka who haunts the house, or Chioma, or both. But one thing is clear. If you take what's not yours, you may end up staying with it forever. Some things are not meant to be taken. Especially a life. Especially a home. Would you live in a house with a story like this? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe. Like. Share for more chilling tales from Taleshade Whisper.